What's up, YouTube? ODST General back again with another Operation Trebuchet news update. This is a big one, guys. There is a ton of stuff to cover in this. A lot of new content is being developed, but the biggest one is already on screen, and that is Spartans were added. I've been asked about this a lot, and I've probably not been asked nearly as much as the devs have. So the Spartans have finally been added in. They're a special unit, as you guys can see. They basically got kind of Mark 5 armor. It's technically, the devs are saying it's supposed to be the Mark 4 armor. It's kind of a combination of the two. Probably a little bit closer to the 5 series. But yeah, so these guys are pretty awesome. I haven't had a chance to test them out. Now, from what I've heard, their armor currently is pretty weak. So basically the way these guys are set up is that the units are hard-coded in so that, like, even if you don't have your armor on and stuff, these guys are still supposed to have, like, really good stamina. They take less fall damage, stuff like that. And then the armor is supposed to be really durable, but the armor values are actually currently kind of broken. They do not have any sort of overshields or anything like that yet, you know, and I just realized I kind of screwed up, but I guess that's not a big deal. I can just pull this up here and I can read this off to you guys. So basically there's a few questions the devs kind of figured people are going to be asking about. So the first question is, why are the devs the same size as the ODSTs? You know, so I'm not going to read exactly what he said, but basically what it comes down to is that if we wanted full-size Spartans, like if the female Marines were to have been put in, it would have required the entire model to be reanimated. It would have required a special work for that to happen. So basically that would have taken significantly longer and a lot more work for kind of minimal payout for that to happen. So the Spartans are a little bit smaller than they should be. They are just basically average infantry size. Where are the Spartan shields? So the Spartans do not currently have shields. They are working on them. They did not give an estimated time of arrival as to when the shields will be available, but they are working on it. So some point here the Spartans will actually have shields that are working. We need more armor pieces. Well, the devs are working on more armor pieces, they said, but with that being said, there is a little bit of customization you can do. If I go into my editor here, not very much, bear in mind, but there is some. So if you go to like Opcan, you can get like the 15 years ODST helmet, which was painted like the Spartan armor, and that's actually almost the exact same green. It's a little tiny bit different if you get really close and match them side by side, but I mean, just for something that got made like months and months ago, this is actually really close. And then as far as backpacks go, the Halo 3, if I can find it, the Halo 3 radio pack is pretty good too. Not sure where it's at though. Oh, there it is. Okay. The green one. So, I mean, these kind of work pretty well together. So that's pretty awesome. Who made the armor? The armor was made primarily by Zephyr Souza and the dog, although I guess it was basically a team effort, so Scorch and the others helped out with it too. Basically, Zephyr made the armor pieces, Dog made the undersuit. Do Spartans get special abilities? So, like I said, they have increased stamina and negated fall damage. But in order to have that work, you need to spawn in the Spartans as a actual Spartan unit, because that is linked to the unit itself. So that's actually linked to the person, not to the armor or anything. So if you put a Spartan armor in like just a normal guy, it won't work out. So let's see here. If you go to special, so you go to UNSC DF and go to special, that's where all the devs armors are. You can see Spartan 2 Super Soldier. This is added in by Optre Z currently. That is Zephyr Souza's side mod. That's like the M395 DMR is in there. The other weapons she's developed in the past that have gone into the main mod since are in there. And then later on, this will be added into the main mod. But for right now, if you want to play as a Spartan, you have to get it through Trebuchet. There's still some tweaking and stuff. I think they're working on the visor and a couple other things, but we're going to have to kind of wait and have a little bit of patience with that. I suspect that that stuff's going to happen a lot quicker since it is on Trebuchet. She tends to update the mod pretty frequently for this. So let's go ahead. We've got a few other things, well, actually quite a few other things to talk about. So the first thing that I have to talk about is some Spartan armor that is being worked on by Tim. I don't know, once again, just like Tim's other stuff, I don't know what his plans are for this. He's built some Spartan armor from the ground up. It's got, you know, like the Halo Reach pack and some Reach pieces and EVA helmet and stuff. So I don't know if he's working on his own version of like the spy armor or if he's actually working on implementing Spartans. We'll have to wait and see. Probably going to be a pretty good wait on that one too. Up next, we've got a few different turrets that are being worked on. So the first one is like a tripod mounted turret about the size of a Warthog, a little bit smaller than a Warthog. I think this one's from Halo Wars. I'm not positive. But yeah, that's it's kind of a neat turret. I don't know if this is completed or not. It's textured, it's in-game obviously, so it's at the very least a static object. And this was some time ago that I downloaded this picture, so that was about 20th of October, so it's been a little while at least. Up next, Burgess has another turret that he's working on. This one's a little pop-up turret. It's basically a little canister. These are from Reach. You know, you program the canister, the turret pops up and you know, pops out of the canister and it starts shooting targets out through like an automated system. This is going to be a little bit all over the place, guys. I do apologize for that, but there isn't much avoiding it. The Mongoose will be seeing its return. Drake Daron, the guy who's been working on First Contact, has been doing work for the main mod too now. Since he does just modeling work and he's been waiting for the stuff from First Contact to get added in by like Scorch and presumably White, he's been working on models for the main mod. So one of them is the Mongoose, which is pretty exciting. There was some retextured versions of the actual ATV from Arma that was in the mod, which were removed because they were just retextures. This is actually a completely modeled from the ground up Mongoose. I'm not sure who worked on this one, but we've got the Mastodon from Halo Wars. This is a pretty large vehicle, so I don't know how long this will take to get in game or if we will actually see it for sure or not. But this would definitely be kind of a cool vehicle. It's an APC with like gun ports and like a giant chain gun on the top, so it could definitely be a pretty used vehicle with the role of an APC. Beyond that, I've got the battle rifle. I don't know who's working on this one. I think this might be a model Tim might be working on. I'm not sure. It might also be like an updated model from the OpTrace guys. I'm pretty sure it's one of the side mods. I just can't remember which one at all, unfortunately. You guys are going to have to forgive me on that. We've got a model of a Wraith Tank with like flood parts on it. The flood parts are kind of lower quality. The Wraith Tank is decent looking. These look like they are originally designed for an RTS mod. This was shared by Tim. I don't know if he has any intention of actually releasing this for Arma, or if he will just be was just showing this off for the sake of showing it off, and just was happening to like mention it. Beyond that, we've got some stuff Big Wolk was showing off. He showed off some bridge parts. These bridge do have, or the bridge has like the stripes down the middle, so I guess this is intended as like a road part. It's kind of an interesting color. It's like a very industrial looking bridge with like kind of this off blue painted stuff, and then like the bridge is like a rust colored and like gray, so it's kind of an interesting design for a bridge. He's also got a warehouse, which is very awesome. I really like this warehouse design. It's a BTX warehouse with the texture that's currently on it. It's got a big, huge bay door as well as a little side door for people, which looks like it's probably slides open. It's just a really cool building. I'm very excited. I'm, you know, as a person who's worked on a map as a terrain building, you know, more new buildings is always awesome. I'm very excited for that. Hopping back to Burgess here. He's working on the Halo 5 Warthog. He's working on a few different versions of the Warthog. So, of course, we've got kind of the primary Halo 5 version, you know, where you've got the gas tank on the back and all this other stuff. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it's supposed to be, is the Halo 5 version. I could be wrong. If I am incorrect, or if I'm incorrect, you know, somebody correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what that's supposed to be. So he's got a couple different versions of that. Like, he's got an APC version. He's got, like, the standard version of the Warthog. That's very early blockouts and stuff, so that's probably a good ways off. It's definitely a pretty neat vehicle, though. I'm pretty excited for it. Probably the last two really big things that we've got to show off, but there's a bit more than that. But the last two big things are the next couple things here. The first thing is an AT gun that Zephyr is working on. This is not actually a cannon weapon. This was just basically, it's designed from the ground up by Zephyr to look and feel like a Halo AT gun. So there's going to be a couple different versions of this thing. One with a shield, one without. The one with a shield is designed to look kind of like the barriers used in Halo 1 through 3. And then it's got kind of like a barrel, like, loading system, like a revolver barrel type of deal. And there's going to be, like, viewports, stuff like that. It's a very cool thing. And then we've got the M247. This one's a static weapons placement with, like, a tripod for, like, infantry to carry around, stuff like that. This is a pretty neat weapon. You know, like I said, I'm a very big fan of the M247. I've been really, really waiting to see this, like, in-game properly. This is from the Optray CC, guys. This is just a model. It's probably going to be quite a long time before we see this thing in-game, but hopefully I'm incorrect and it gets put in a little bit sooner than I'm expecting. So the last really big thing, I do have one thing after this, but the last very big thing is the Rhino. Or not the Rhino. I keep saying that every time I get the Grizzly, I keep calling it the Rhino. The Grizzly has been put in game. White's got it scripted in. It's working. It's nearly ready to go. He said he is working on a couple of things. He says it's been vastly improved since this picture. That is White. So this is kind of a joint venture between Burgess and a couple other guys. This is a big, mean machine, though. I'm very excited to see this thing in game, just murdering everybody. And then, lastly, Warthog just showed a very quick picture of his brute. Now, normally I'd be very excited for the brute, but this is just like a really fast picture. Very work in progress. Basically just him saying, hey, I'm still working on the mod. You know, I haven't gotten a lot done recently, but here's what I'm looking to do in the next, week or two. You know, as far as development on the brute, because he's basically said the model's done, minus maybe a couple minor things. He's just mainly going on to, like, animating and, like, designing the armor and stuff for them. I believe that's everything now. So yeah, we've got Spartans, obviously, though. That is the big thing. I know a lot of you guys have been, like I said, bugging me about it, bugging the devs, you know, like, hey, are Spartans getting added? We should add Spartans, this and that. So here they are. Spartans are in. They are playable. They are better than the normal Marines. Now, with that being said, you're not going to be invincible. So if you are playing a Spartan, you know, still play smart, play carefully, play like you normally play armor. You can go farther. You can do a little bit more than the normal guys, but you're not invincible. So just bear that in mind. And you know, if you run a unit, and chances are if you run a unit, you probably already know about this. You might not be watching this video, but if you are watching this video, you know, and you're kind of miffed about the Spartans getting added in because you're worried people are going to use them, just bear in mind you can stop stuff like the Spartans from being pulled up in the arsenal. There's ways of preventing this from being used on your servers, so that's just something that it's worth keeping in mind. So if you really don't want Spartans, prevent them from being used on your server. You know, you're not required to use this, of course, you know, and for those who are excited about it, just let them enjoy it. Other than that, though, guys, I believe that's everything we have to talk about here, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're going to end it here, and you guys take it easy, you enjoy yourselves, and I will see you guys for the next video.